जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर
He's saying
श्रीवासादि
your
गौर
screen has been
भक्तवृंद।
now pause the screen. He's saying like this.
Oh, no problem. After Kirtan, we'll start again.
Okay, okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Gurudev, 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 Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Nam Sankirtan की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। Hare Krishna. Welcome to all devotees. Last class we continued 4th canto 8th chapter. They will continue with the verses from 45th onward. We'll have prayers and then we'll discuss. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitascha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। As we have begun this chapter, we have discussed in the beginning about the lineage of Adharma, how there is Suruchi, she doesn't want Dhruva to sit on the lap of his father, and she is expressing herself, saying that you are not born from my womb. So Dhruva Maharaj approaches his mother Suniti, and there we find wonderful discussion. And ahead he leaves for the forest, where on the way he meets Narad Muni, and Narad Muni, he is guiding him. So certainly, the as we discussed, the Guru, he tests the disciple. So Narad Muni tested him. Also, at the same time, we find how the instructions that were imparted were they were Brahminical, very helpful, but Dhruva was not ready to accept it. Even the way those who are seniors, like his father, Uttanpad, he should not be uh, envying him, but then he wants better kingdom than him. He should not be he should be compassionate to Suruchi, but we find he takes her words so seriously, and he should not compete with Uttama, but then somehow, because he doesn't get the place, so now he is aspiring for the place which is not even attained by the sons of Brahma. So all that and now, as he wants to know the process, Narad Muni, he is further guiding him what will be the what is the way for him. And Narad Muni instructed him to go to Madhuvan, and there in the purport Prabhupada had mentioned about 12 forests. So we'll begin with the text 45. प्रसादाभिमुखं शश्वत् प्रसन्नवदनेक्षणं सुनासं सुभ्रुवं चारु कपोलं सूरसुन्दरम्.
The form of the Lord described herein. The Lord's face is perpetually very beautiful and pleasing in attitude. To the devotees who see him, he appears never to be displeased, and he is always prepared to award benedictions to them. His eyes, his nicely decorated eyebrows, his raised nose, and his broad forehead are all very beautiful. He is more beautiful than all the demigods.
Yeah. So as it is mentioned, Sureshu Sundaram, he is most beautiful amongst all demigods. And here we find how Lord's beauty is described. Many places such beauty is described. Even Kapil Muni in the third canto, the description comes when he also says about how one meditates on the Lord. Dhyanayanam prahasitam bhula भासा रुणयित तनुद्विजकुण्डपङ्क्ति ध्यायेत् स्वदेह कुहरे वसितस्य विष्णोर् bhaktyardrayarpitamana na pratak didrukshet. He mentions how one should meditate upon the Lord's smile or rahasitam or laughter, which is very easy object of meditation, and how Lord's teeth are, that is mentioned. The teeth are like a row of jasmine birds with his shining full red lips. Dvijakundap. One should not desire to see anything except the Vishnu who is present in one's heart with a mind steeped in mature devotion. So that is the only object of meditation. Even in this fourth canto itself, further in the chapter 24, these verses come where Lord's beauty is described. स्निग्धप्रारुद्घनश्यामं सर्वसौन्दर्यसङ्ग्रहं चार्वायुतचतुर्बाहु सुजातरुचिराननं पद्मकोशपलाशाक्षं सुन्दरभ्रूसुनासिकं सुद्विजं सुकपोलास्यं समकर्णविभूषणम्. How Lord's beauty, it is like Ghanashamam, that is dark cloud during the rainy season. Sarva Saundarya Sangraham, Lord is the storehouse, or we can say he is the Saundarya Nidhi. As the rainfall glistens, his bodily features also glisten. Indeed, he is the sum total of all beauty. The Lord has four arms and exquisitely beautiful face with eyes like lotus petals, a beautiful highly raised nose, a mind attracting smile, a beautiful forehead, and equally beautiful and fully decorated ears. So this is how other places also Lord's beauty is described. Sridhar Swami says about Sureshu Sundaram, that is Sura Sundaram. He is the most beautiful amongst all demigods. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given similar understanding. Sura Sundaram. Purport. This verse clearly explains how one has to meditate on the form of the Lord. Impersonal meditation is a bogus invention of modern days. So when it is said impersonal meditation, and Prabhupada clearly says that it is bogus invention. So some of the mathas, the kind of meditation that is taught is people, they are invited, they will be sitting in some room which is almost dark, and there they are asked to meditate. Sometimes you hear the sound of snoring also. Some people sleep also because very conducive atmosphere for sleep also. And the people, those who endeavor or those who are on this uh, serious for meditation, they are guided, they are told that you have to meditate on any form, whichever form you like, whichever demigod, god you like. You have to meditate in such a way that by the progress of your meditation, the deity that you are meditating upon is fractured into the pieces. So that's how the meditation is taught. And that's why Prabhupada actually many places condemn such rascals. Rather, the same person propagated the theory of yatomat tatopat and all that. So that's why these mathas, even though apparently they appear spiritual, but then a lot of social activities are done. So people get attracted seeing how these people are spiritual minded, but they are doing so much for the society, and people go there. but in reality they are doing great disservice, because this bogus invention of impersonal meditation. In none of the Vedic literatures is impersonal meditation recommended. So even Lord says in Gita the word mat paraha, which means pertaining to me. Any Vishnu form pertains to Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna is the original Vishnu form. So when Patanjali he prescribed in his Yoga Sutras, it is also mentioned that one should meditate on the form of Vishnu. Sometimes someone tries to meditate upon the impersonal Brahman, which is described in Bhagavad Gita as avyakta, meaning unmanifested or impersonal. So Lord says 12.5 avyakta hi gati klesho adiktarastesham avyaktasakta chetasam. One has to concentrate on the form of the Lord, which is described here in connection with Dhruva Maharaja's meditation. As will be apparent from later descriptions, Dhruva Maharaj perfected this kind of meditation and his yoga was successful. यस्य देव प्राभक्तिर यथा देवे तथा गुरो इति श्रुतेः उभयोर विशेषणानि. So we know about this verse, yasya deva prabhakti. So certainly because of his deep faith in practices prescribed by Narad Muni, he'll be able to attain the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Prasadha vimukam anugrahe vimukam prasannam vadanam ikshane chesya shobhane bhro yasyatam. So here it is mentioned how Lord is mentioned as prasadha vimukam. When it is said that prasadha vimukam, that is Lord is ready to bestow his mercy, and that's why prasadha vimukam. That's what anugrahe avimukam. Prasad is anugraha or mercy. Prasannam vadanam ikshane, whose uh, vadan or face is very delighted, or we can say he is very pleasing for the eyes. Prasanna vadanam. Charu kapolam sundar gandam. So Charu kapolam, as Kapola, we understand that is a forehead, and his forehead also very beautiful. Goswami Shri Giridhar Lal, Gita Prabhu Prabhu. He is saying Prasada Abhimukam, that is Prasadaya Vardhanaya Abhimukam Udyuktam. So he is ready to give his mercy, his benedictions. That's how that Prasadam Abhimukam or Abhimukam Udyuktam is ready, he wants to give. Other descriptions how is sushtu nasa yasyatam, sushtu bhro yasyatam, how all his different his nose, his eyebrows, now they are beautiful. Even his forehead, charuni manohare kapole yasyatam, how his forehead is also very attractive. Sureshu devishu sundaram. Text 46. Tarunam ramaniyangam अरुणोष्टेक्षणाधरं प्रणताश्रयणं नृम्नं शरण्यं करुणार्णवम्.
Narad Muni continued, the Lord's form is always useful. Every limb and every part of his body is properly formed, free from defect. His eyes and his lips are pinkish like the rising sun. He is always prepared to give shelter to the surrendered soul, and anyone so fortunate as to look upon him feels all satisfaction. The Lord is always worthy to be master of the surrendered soul, for he is the ocean of mercy.
Prabhu, you are muted, Prabhu. Shri Guru Prabhu.
So I was saying here, as it is mentioned, Karunar Navam, it refers to how Lord is the ocean of mercy, Arnava, and at the same time, some places it is mentioned as Lord as Karuna Nidhi, that is, Lord is storehouse of mercy, or Lord is ocean of mercy. रमणीयानि अंगानि यस्य ओष्ठश्च ईक्षणा ईक्षणं च ओष्ठे क्षणे अरुणे ओष्ठे क्षणे धारयति इति तथातम्. So how Lord's all bodily parts, Ramaniyani Angani, yes, his body is full of beauty. His lips, oh, this 45 to 50, they are mixed up for this verses. 36, both. Yes, Oshtascha, Ikshana, Ikshanam. Okay. So as it is mentioned here, that Lord's lips Arunoshte Kshanadharam, and his Ikshana or eyes, uh, lips and eyes, they are of Aruna, that is, they are red colored. Here, Nrumnam is mentioned as Sukhakaram, Yadva Nrumnam Dhanam. Both meanings are given. So, Nrumnam, it is referring, which is giving the joy. At the same time, here another meaning that is given is Nrumnam is Dhanam. So, what kind of Dhanam? So, that is Sarva Purushartha Nidhim Ityartaha. So, this wealth is Lord, his storehouse of all Purusharthas. As we say, Dharmartha Kam Moksha, and the Pancham Purushartha is Prema Pumartha Mahan. So, Sarva Purushartha Nidhi. Sharanyam Rakshitaram. He is the protector of those who are surrender. Okay, that is about 46. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Upar yadha sthito dantat chhada oshtadharo uchyate pranatanam ashranam numnam tesham dhanarupam. So now he is also describing Lord's beauty, saying how when it is mentioned as Oshta, which is upari adha sthito dantat, so which is situated upper side, that is Oshta, and which is adha sthito, that is adhara uchyate. So Oshta and adhara. Pranadaanam ashranam numnam tesham ganurupam. So those who don't surrender to the Supreme Lord, for such people, he is mentioned as Tesham Dhanurupam. For him, he appears as a wealth, because if we see that those who are interested only in wealth but not in the Lord, as in the case of Ravana and others, we understand that people, they are interested in Lord's energy. Duryodhana also, we find both Arjuna and Duryodhana went to the Lord Krishna, but then Duryodhana chose Lord's energy, Lord's wealth. So here the understanding is, people those who are not surrendered to the Lord, they they accept such kind of wealth, such form of wealth. That's why Dhanarupam. Perfect. Everyone has to surrender to someone superior. That is always the nature of our living condition. So here clarity is given, Prabhupada, when he is saying that, yes, Sharanyam, explaining this word here, Sharanyam Karunarnavam. So he is referring this Sharanyam, yeah, the person unto whom it is just worthy to surrender. And why people surrender? Unless person surrenders to superior, one cannot even uh, do the routine chores. One cannot function normally. So it is mandatory. So everyone has to surrender. Prabhupada says that is always the nature of our living condition. So how people surrender so many places? So that Prabhupada has given, either to society, to our nation, family, state, or government. So the process already exists, but it is never perfect, because the person or institution unto whom we surrender is imperfect. So both the things, where the place of surrender, the person or place of surrender, that is imperfect, and the motive or the agenda, the goal with which person surrenders, that is also imperfect. Both are imperfect, and it is very clear, either it may be for the purpose of money, for the purpose of post, or getting adoration, respect, so many things. Person somehow or other, for the sake of materialistic agenda, one approaches and surrenders to imperfect person, imperfect authority. And that process of surrendering, it is not the way we find, as Lord says, what is the right way, right process. Sarva dharman parityajya. That's how people don't surrender. Here they surrendered with some motive, ulterior motives. As such, in the material world, no one is worthy to accept anyone's surrender, nor does anyone fully surrender to anyone else unless obliged to do so. So that's why they are not sharanyam. They are not worthy to accept anyone's surrender because they themselves are subjected to process of birth and death. So there is no question that in material world that anyone can accept someone else's surrender. So when Prabhupada says here that unless obliged, so can someone give example where person is obliged to surrender?
Office works, Prabhu.
Yeah. Nice. So here when it is mentioned as obliged to surrender, so that is kind of voluntary. When we say like no, we need money, so we work in office and all. But there are certain places where one cannot give excuse only. Just like in foreign countries, it is seen that when people drive on the road and if police comes and if they just ask one to come out with the gun in the hand, if somehow person tries to do something else, they shoot also. So knowing well that we don't lose the life, person automatically surrenders fully or like no, it is like obliged, he's fully obliged for that.
Another example is of airport too. Airport.
Like
Security
yeah,
authorities.
yeah. Right. So it is very tough in a sense that unless one is obliged, he will not fully surrender. So as Proji gave a nice example, so person is obliged, he has to go. So because he wants to travel from one place to another, whatever purpose it may be, he says, okay, I am surrender. You check everything, whatever it may be, and all. We get to see other places, if person is not obliged, they don't surrender. Rather, they say it is easy to manage the people to whom you give good salary, you pay like no, give proper their whatever rewards are there accordingly. You are giving sufficient rewards, but still it is found that they may also not surrender fully. And as it happens, as you get to see that people, those who are not given rewards, they are coming voluntarily. It becomes more and more tough to manage them. Why? Because this process of fully surrendering, that happens based on person's faith or obligation. So here, those who understand because of maybe security reason or threat to the life, so that is one case of obligation. And another is someone who has got complete faith. He has accepted the process wholeheartedly and his faith is not shattered. He understands this is the Ved Vak, or this is what this person he is speaking, he is Acharya, he is following what he says. I am ready to do anything for this person. So that's how there is full surrender. Otherwise, it is very difficult to find the surrender. But here the surrendering process is voluntary and the Lord is worthy to accept the surrender. So similarly, we see that in process of Krishna consciousness, we see whether it is brahmachari, grihastha, vanprastha, sannyasis, all they're like focus, voluntarily dedicated, and that's how, because their surrendering process is voluntary, so Lord accepts, and we understand how Lord is the worthy to accept the surrender. No one else is worthy, because when someone has given up, okay, I'll ask you only, can you say what is the basis that yes, Lord is worthy to accept the surrender as it is mentioned in our practical life? Let's say someone is unmarried or married, brahmachari or grihastha devotee. So how Lord is worthy to accept the surrender?
Through authorities, Prabhuji.
Yeah, very nice. I mean to say, uh, why not uh, Lord Brahma, other personality?
The Lord is Bhavgrahi Janardhan.
Oh, very nice. So we find whether it is of any ashram, a devotee, he has given up all aspirations. He has no aspiration in the material world. So the people of the material world cannot accept their surrender. For others, for karmis, there can be other, like, no, because they have different desires and all. And to that extent, they may say, okay, we give you shelter. That too, again, that is illusion, because everything comes from the Lord only. So point is, ultimately, Lord is the only worthy person to accept the surrender. But when we specifically deal in relation with the devotees, those who are surrendered, it is important to note that no other person can accept their surrender, because they themselves are bound up in the chain of cycle of birth and death. Devotees have no aspiration in this world, so there is no question of binding them. So Prabhupada says, yes, if one sees Lord's beautiful youthful nature, then this surrenders or occurs automatically. The description given by Narad Muni is not imaginary. This is a very significant thing to understand. Most of the people, those who read here outside parampara system, they actually don't appreciate the form of the Lord, and they don't understand. And so many Mayavadis and impersonalists, they support such kind of understanding, and because of that, people, those who are actually aware, those who understand that yes, this is how God can be having form and all, but then due to wrong propaganda, wrong preaching, they also go away from the right understanding. So when Prabhupada is mentioning that the description given by Narad Muni is not imaginary, so not imaginary, so it is very significant that yes, it is reality. The form of the Lord is understood by the parampara system. Unless and until one is in parampara system, where is the question that one will appreciate Lord's form? Because other systems, they actually reject Lord's form. Mayavadi philosophers say we have to imagine the form of the Lord, but here Narad Muni does not say that. So Narad Muni is not saying imagine, he says it is reality. So Mayavadi philosophers, when they say that Sarvam Khulu Idam Brahma, and this Brahma is attributeless. But then still they speak of the attributes of the Brahman. Satyam, Anantam. So we have heard that yes, they Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. So they will stress these three things. Where from these three attributes are coming? Why are you giving these qualities to Brahma, which is attributeless? If you question them, they don't have any answer to say. Not to just say these things. Even if you take Upanishads, you start discussing, okay, how these points, these are the things mentioned, and they have no clue, no answer what to respond. And that's why when people study Vedanta Sutra, there is Purva Paksha, Uttar Paksha, and they understand these arguments are so solid that even a like no small children, if they are taught well, they can refute all these nonsensical ideas of Mayavadi philosophers. So Prabhupada further says that rather he gives the description of the Lord from authoritative sources. He is himself an authority and he is able to go to Vaikuntha Loka and see the Lord personally. Therefore, his description of the bodily features of the Lord is not imagination. So personally, he is able to witness, personally, he is able to see the Lord face to face. So where is the question that it is imagination? It is reality. Sometimes we give instructions to our students about the bodily features of the Lord and they paint him. So this is something we understand that a pure devotee, tasyaham na pranashami. For him, Lord is there in front of him. He has seen the Lord. He is able to understand, yes, this is the form of the Lord. So when pure devotee is guiding, where is the question that no, that form can be imaginary? So their paintings are not imaginary. The description is given to disciplic succession, just like that given by Narad Muni, who sees the Lord and describes his bodily features. Therefore, such description should be accepted, and if they are painted, that is not imaginative painting. So many such incidents happen when it so happened once a person he saw the pictures that are behind second chance book of four Yamdutas. So three or four Yamdutas. So he saw those descriptions, he saw those pictures, and then actually he had earlier seen such kind of beings, and he was saying that yes, these are the same people which I saw. It was his last moments of life, something like that. So this, in book distribution pastime, this was nicely, vividly described. Long back, I heard this pastime, wherein it was mentioned that the person he saw these entities, and after seeing the book, he realized these are the same beings. So, and the person who had seen, he was not Hindu, he was actually Mohammedan. So if the person of other religion, they are also able to appreciate, accept the fact that these paintings are not imaginative painting, these paintings are real, this is real life. So there can be many more evidences, examples, but then as we see Prabhupada ji saying, the way Narad Muni has given description, similarly the person in disciplic succession, Prabhupada himself, when he is describing, we have to understand that it is not imagination, it is a reality. Text 47. Srivatsankam ganashamam purusham vanamalinam shankachakra gada padme avivyakta chaturbhujam.
Guruji, also, anyways, painting is also one of the 8 ways of actually having a Lord or describing the Lord or installing the Lord, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
शैली दारुमयी लोही, they say lepya lekhya cha shaikati, manomayi manimayi. So these are ashtada, these are 8 kinds of pratimas, or 8 ways by which we can make the form of the Lord. But then when Prabhupada ji describes this based on Jiva Goswami's understanding, he says actually out of these forms, the forms which are permanent, those should be worshipped by the Lord. Like if the form is in the, say, sand, like if you know, some pastimes are there in uh, books written by devotees. So there one of the person, he would write Radha with his hands, and then he would worship, and later he would uh, remove it. So but then it is recommended that we worship the form which is permanent, like made of marble, gold, or like, no, say, metals. So the point Prabhupada says that that's why we don't actually neglect Lord's worship, and it is essential that we worship the way it is recommended by acharyas.
Yes, bro. Thank you, bro.
Although it's the translation, the Lord is further described as having the mark of Srivatsa, or the sitting place of the goddess of fortune, and his bodily hue is deep bluish. The Lord is a person. He wears a garland of flowers and is eternally manifest with 4 hands, which hold, beginning from the lower left hand, conch shell, wheel, club, and lotus flower.
Yeah, so these are various positions, and accordingly Lord is named differently in Vaikuntha Lokas.
So, Prabhuji, I have one question. So, suppose we have a calendar or any such invitation card where the Lord's photo is there. So, is it worshipable or like?
Yeah, if it is in parampara system, like if you see, uh, if the paintings are made by outsiders, and we say, okay, this is also Lord's painting, but then we don't know whether it is coming in parampara system or not, because sometimes people, they are very eager to show their talents. You must be knowing, not one place but many places, people, they are so eager to show their talents. But this is not based on simply talents, it is based on whether it is authorized by the acharya or not. Because if you see, Prabhupada gives this example in Sri Shopnishad about, if someone, he goes through the studies of, say, being a magistrate, or yes, let's say magistrate. So he goes through the study, he completes the study, and he may get the award, like, no, degrees awarded to the person. Now he has gone through study, that his qualification he has received, he has got the degree also. But then Prabhupada says further, unless and until he is given blessings, or he is given authority that now you can practice it, till that time his qualification, simply qualification, is of no use. So similarly, even though these people, they may paint in very special ways, but unless and until it is sanctioned by a devotee, as we say about pran pratishtha, that unless and until the Lord is invited by a pure devotee, it's of no use. Like that, these paintings also, we appreciate, respect when they are sanctioned by authority. That is my humble understanding.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. If
Yes.
there are ISKCON invitation cards, means cards are invitation cards are by ISKCON, and calendar, ISKCON calendar means Vaishnav calendar. And if, what should we do after its use? It has
Best use is if possible, we can cut the photos and we can distribute in villages, whichever place we travel. Most of the people, they appreciate so much. Like, what to speak of nowadays, the pictures, they are like, these calendars, the photos and the paper quality is quite thick. But then earlier times, many years back, when paper quality was like, quite they were thin. So that time also, when I distributed it, whether it is Chitrakoot and many places, I saw, after in later visits, I was able to see those pictures were kept by them. And the visitors, those who are devotees, when they are seeing that, yes, these pictures are there, they are bowing down, so they are able to receive the mercy of the Lord, because you are like, somehow sharing what you have. So if you can, if you have capacity, if you can do that, that is best thing to do. And if you feel that it is broken or some problem is there, then you can uh, put it in Nirmalya, or like, in the flowing river.
Okay. Okay, Bhagavan.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. One suggestion,
Hare
we can cover these Bhagavatam books in our home with calendars.
Yeah, Mataji is saying nicely
Ha,
that.
ha. And actually, we respect this Bhagavatam, so we get calendar, old pictures also get nicely kept with that book. We can,
Thank you, Mata.
Very nice. So it's verse number 47. Both are combined here. We'll see other commentary. वंचित श्री वत्सार्थो ही श्री कृष्ण अवतार वर्णने स्फुटि भविष्यति पुरुष लक्षण श्याम वर्ण शंख चक्रादि तद उत्तम. So Sri Vanshidhar, he's saying in his Bhavartha Deepika Prakash that when it is mentioned about Sri Vatsa, it is in relation with Lord Krishna's descent, or about Lord Krishna's description, it is given about Sri Vatsa. Purusha Lakshanam, and the description is about Shamavarna, Shankha, Chakradi, Tad Yuktam. So he is with the blackish complexion, or as we say, the color of a black cloud, or and he is with his different Shankha Chakra Gada Padma that is mentioned. As we see this description here, similar description is there in 11th canto, 14th chapter. So you will find very similar understanding. The way it is mentioned here, we'll find the verses are also going in the same fashion. I'll just this is verse number 11, 14, 36. Seven, 14, 36. Yeah. So nice verses when it is mentioned. Rutpundarikam antastam urdhunalam adhomukam ध्यात्वोर्ध्वमुखम् उन्निद्रम् अष्टपत्रं सकर्णिकं कर्णिकायां न्यसेत् सूर्य सोमाग्निनोत्तरोत्तरं वह्निमध्ये स्मरेद् रूपं ममैतद्ध्यानमङ्गलं समं प्रशान्तं सुमुखं दीर्घचारु चतुर्भुजं सुचारु सुन्दरग्रीवं सुकपोलं शुचिस्मितं समानकर्णविन्यस्त स्फुरन्मकरकुण्डलं हेमाम्बरं घनश्यामं श्रीवत्स श्रीनिकेतनं शङ्खचक्रगदा पद्म वनमाला विभूषितं नुपुरैर्विलसत्पादं कौस्तुभप्रभयायुतं द्युमत्किरीटकटककटिसूत्राङ्गदायुतं सर्वाङ्गसुन्दरं हृद्यं प्रसादसुमुखेक्षणं सुकुमारम् अभिध्यायेत् सर्वाङ्गेषु मनोददत् इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेभ्यो मनसाकृष्य तन्मनः बुद्ध्या सारथिना धीरः प्रणयेत् मयि सर्वतः. So here Lord Krishna himself, he is describing about how a devotee should meditate, and in that meditation he is speaking about this yoga system to Uddhava. He is saying how Arut Pundarikam Antastam. So Antastam, in the heart, one should meditate Urdhva Nalam Adhomukam. So here Nalam, that is the stalk, that is upside, but then the petals, they are Adhomukam. Dhyayato Urdhvamukam Unnidram Ashtapatram Sakarnikam. कर्णिकायां न्यसेत् सूर्य सोमाग्निन उत्तरोत्तरम वह्नि मध्ये स्मरेद् रूपम मम एतद् ध्यानमंगलम. So Lord is saying how this meditation should be that Surya, Soma, Agnin, that is sun, moon and fire, Uttarottaram, that is one after another, they should be placed, and yeah, so they should be placed within that whirl of the lotus flower. Samam prashantam sumukham dirghacharu chaturbhujam sucharu sundaragrivam. Now, as we saw here, Lord's form was described, how it is of dark rain cloud.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, which is this prayer you said now?
This is Lord Krishna. He is describing in 11 chapter 14, 36 to 42.
Okay.
I'll read Prabhupada translation. Keeping the eyes half closed and fixed on the tip of one's nose, being enlivened and alert, one should meditate on the lotus flower situated within the heart. This lotus has 8 petals and is situated on an erect lotus stalk. One should meditate on the sun, moon and fire, placing them one after the other within the whirl of that lotus flower. Placing my transcendental form within the fire, one should meditate upon it as the auspicious goal of all meditation. That form is perfectly proportioned, gentle and cheerful. It possesses 4 beautiful long arms, a charming beautiful neck, a handsome forehead, a pure smile and glowing shark-shaped earrings suspended from 2 identical ears. That spiritual form is the color of a dark rain cloud and is garbed in golden yellowish silk. So most of the time we have heard about this, how Lord is Shamam. and about his Pitambar. The chest of that form is the abode of Srivatsa and the goddess of fortune. And that form is also decorated with the conch shell, disc club, lotus flower, and garland of forest flowers. So this again, in this verse also, this description comes about how Lord is having this Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. The two brilliant lotus feet are decorated with ankle bells and bracelets, and that form exhibits the Kaustubh gem along with an effulgent crown. The upper hips are beautified by a golden belt, and the arms are decorated with valuable bracelets. All of the limbs of that beautiful form capture the heart, and the face is beautified by merciful glancing. Pulling the senses back from the sense objects, one should be grave and self-controlled and should use the intelligence to strongly fix the mind upon all of the limbs of my transcendental body. Thus, one should meditate upon that most delicate transcendental form of mind. Now, as we discuss this, we find further verse, Lord says, Tat sarvyapakam chittam akrushay katra dharet na anyani chintayet bhuya susmitam bhavayen mukham. One should then pull the consciousness back from all the limbs of that transcendental body. At that time, one should meditate only on wonderfully smiling face of the Lord. And ahead further other details are also mentioned. But this how Lord himself is describing the process and the beauty which we see here in this verse.
काढला कारण की आज तिकडे लावायला काहीच नव्हतं पलीकडच्या ह्याला आम्हाला काही सापडतच नव्हतं म्हणून काढलं आणि तिकडे लावलं
But
पट्टा
here
काहीच
in this
नव्हतं
verse,
पलीकडच्या त्रिकोणी प्लॉटला लावायला परवा ते तिकडचं बिल्डर सगळे ते कोण त्याला वापर
here in this verse, the word Purusham is very significant. The Lord is never female. He is always male, Purusha. Because the way we understand philosophy, even the Tatastha Shakti, wherein we have understanding of Purusha and Sri, we understand this Tatastha Shakti, it is also the energy of the Lord. And from that perspective, because it is energy, so that is also feminine. But then Lord is the only one or only who is the male or who is never female. That's what Prabhupada says. Therefore, the impersonalist who imagines the Lord's form as that of a woman is mistaken. The Lord appears in female form if necessary, just like Mohini Murti, etc. But his perpetual form is Purusha because he is originally male. The feminine features of the Lord is displayed by goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, Radharani, Sita, etc. All these goddesses of fortune are servitors of the Lord. They are not the supreme, as falsely imagined by the impersonalists. So because these people, they want to portray or show that how the Shakti is topmost, so they will have interpretations in various places and they will try to portray the scriptures which are not actually Amal Puran. So other places where Shakti is given significance, they will put forward those things. Lord Krishna in his Narayan feature is always four-handed. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Arjuna wanted to see his universal form, he showed this feature of four-handed Narayan. Some devotees are of the opinion that Krishna is an incarnation of Narayan, but the Bhagavad school says that Narayan is a manifestation of Krishna. So based on this, one of you can say exactly how it is proving Bhagavad school says that Narayan is a manifestation of Krishna.
Prabhuji, in first canto, 1.3.28, there is mentioned that Krishna is to Bhagwan Swayam. Krishna is the origin of all incarnations.
Yeah, that is very nice. here the thing based on what is presented here, the theme that Prabhupada is talking here, based on that, would you like to say something?
In the purport, it is mentioned that Krishna showed the feature of 400 Narayana to Arjuna. So
Yeah.
from that, we can conclude that Krishna is the source of Narayana.
Someone else would like to try? So we get to see how when Lord showed the form or Vishwaroop, so that time actually he mentions about how even to say see that form, it is not possible by studying Vedas and by various kinds of charity, austerities and all that. That's what he mentions, that it is very difficult to see this kind of form. But later when he is showing other forms, like when he shows four-handed form, that is also not mentioned as like very special. But then his two-handed form, Prabhupada has given clarity in the purport there, that how it was very special. And in the verse, Lord himself says that it is Sudu Darsham. Sudu Darsham. That is, it is rare, and when it is mentioned Su, that it is very, very rare. So the fact is, Lord's two-handed form is very rare to see. Even it is rare to see than the Vishwaroop. Vishwaroop may be seen by others also, like in Mahabharata also incident comes that one of the sage, while Lord Krishna was going from Hastinapur, he wanted to see that form, and then Lord showed him also his Vishwaroop. So the point is that may be possible, but then the two-handed form of the Lord is very rare to see. Because Vishwan Chakra Thakur has mentioned how it is Lord himself, if he doesn't reveal, then person will not be able to see, because it is actually it requires premanjana. Unless and until person has that love and devotion, one will not be able to see. So even Narayan form, if all of you remember various places whenever there is sacrifice, or before this section you have seen the section of Daksha, wherein after the performance of sacrifice, who appeared, Krishna or Narayan? Rishi Kumar Pro? So basically we get to see how all this sacrifice, after that we get to see that Narayan appears, either four-handed, eight-handed, but then Narayan form comes. But then to see Lord Krishna, two-handed form of the Lord, it is most rare, and that's how we have this clarity that Bhagavad school says that Narayan is manifestation of Krishna, and Mataji also said that how it is based on Paribhasha Sutra that Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Text 48. Kiritinam kundalinam keyura valayanvitam kaustuba abharana grivam pita kausheya vasasam.
The entire body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudev, is decorated. He wears a valuable jeweled helmet, necklaces, and bracelets. His neck is adorned with the Kaustubh jewel, and he is dressed in yellow silk garment.
So here it is mentioned about Lord Vasudev. And when Dhruva Maharaj was instructed by Narad Muni, when he says you should go to Madhuvan, that time Prabhupada has described in 42nd verse about how there are 12 forests. So Gopal Tapni Upanishad describes Dve vanestah Krishna vanam Bhadravanam Tayor Antar Dwadash Vanani Punyani Punyatamani. So these forests, they are divided between Krishna's forest and Balram's forest. And there it is mentioned as Vanani Punyani Punyatamani. So some are sacred and some are most sacred, Punyatamani. So there Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes which are the forests of Lord Krishna and which are of Balram's. So 8 forests, that is Brihadvan, Madhuvan, Talvan, Kamyavan, Bahulavan, Kumudvan, Khadirvan and Vrindavan. These are Krishna's forests. And Balram's forests that are mentioned are of Bhadravan, Bhandirvan, Shrivan and Lohavan. Teshu eva devas tishtanti siddhaha siddhim praptaha. So demigods tishtanti, they stay there. And siddhaha siddhim praptaha, those who are perfected beings, they attain their perfection. Means siddhaha, they have become siddha, or what is siddhi they have received because they stayed there. And that's why Narad Muni also guided Dhruva Maharaj that if you want to attain perfection, this is the right place. So as we are discussing about this deity worship part also, so here Gopal Tapni Upanishad, it has given a lot of details about what is a right way, right prescriptions and all. Great. Text 49. Kanchi kalapa paryastam lasat kanchana nupuram darshaniyatamam shantam manonayana vardhanam.
The Lord is decorated with small golden bells around his waist, and his lotus feet are decorated with golden ankle bells. All his bodily features are very attractive and pleasing to the eyes. He is always peaceful, calm, and quiet, and very pleasing to the eyes and the mind.
Yeah. कांची कलापेन तत्सन्यभूषणेन कलापो भूषणे वर्षे समूहे चंद्रमस्यापि निरुक्ति. So as mentioned here that Lord, he was decorated with kanchi kalapena. we understand clearly how Supreme Lord, his ornaments, they are also made of gold, and these ornaments, just like we get to see even while dressing the Lord, various kinds of ornaments are put on the body of the Lord, and some ornaments are specific to, that is, if it is for neck, then it will be choker and necklace. Then for the waist, there will be specific ornament. So Lord's various bodily parts, various ornaments are put, and when here it is mentioned about Kanchi Kalapa Paryastam, so like once it so happened that one of the ornament which was of Lord's waist, it was put into the place wherein there are borders for the dressing, and those which are border cloths. So in that ornament of waist was put, and as it is mentioned here, Kanchi Kala. So there are bells hanging because it is put onto the waist part. But then it may happen if it is placed another place, then you will find that in the dressing also some devotees, they will use that kind of thing, and in the dressing you will find that small bells hanging, because actually that uh, ornament is of another place, but then that is used by devotee to decorate. That is also, there is nothing wrong about it, but then as per whatever various parts of the body, various ornaments are put, by which Lord looks very beautiful. So here it is mentioned about Kanchi Kalapa Paryastam. So it will be covering the waist of the Lord, and some are like just small ones, but if it is in the rows 1 2 3 4, then it is difficult, it cannot be used as a border and all, but then it can be used some other way also. So similarly we find the this kind of ornament which is used on the waist, so it looks very attractive because those bells hanging and all, it is decorating Lord's divine body. शांतं निर्विकारं मनस इंद्रियाणांच गुणत्वात् बुद्धिर्न संगच्छति. या विरागाचर्य कांची कलापेन पर्यस्तं परिवेष्टितं तसत् कांचने नूपुरे यस्य तम अतिशयेन द्रष्टुम. Yeah, so yasya tam, this much only. So it is mentioned that how Lord's waist is pariveshtitam, or surrounded by this small bells of gold. Okay. There is no comment together. Text 50. Padbhyam nakamaniश्रेण्या vilassadbhyam samarchatam rutpadma karnika dhishnyam akramya atmani avasthitam.
Real yogis meditate upon the transcendental form of the Lord as he stands on the wool of the lotus of their hearts. The jewel-like nails of his lotus feet glitter.
Yeah, so this is similar, wherein we find Pravishtah Karnarandrena स्वानां भावसरोरुहं धुनोति शमलं कृष्ण सलिलस्य यथा शरत्. So there we find Swanam Bhava Saroruham. So on the lotus of the devotee's heart, Bhava Saroruham, which is of their emotions or their feelings for the Lord. On that lotus of heart of devotees, Lord resides. So here it is, as he stands on the whirl of the lotus of their hearts. The jewel like nails of his lotus feet glittering. So here even Lord's nails, how they are glittering, that is also nicely mentioned. 50. नखाय मनयस्तेषां श्रेण्या पंक्त्या विलसद्भ्यां युक्तं समर्चताम् हृत्पद्म कर्णिकाधिष्ण्यं मध्यस्थानं तदाक्रम्य अर्चताम् आत्मनि स्थितम्. His nails also are decorated with the pearls, or they are glistening like pearls. Swami says, हृत्पद्मकर्णिकायाधीष्णं मध्यस्थानं तद आक्रम्य समर्चतां भक्तानां आत्मनि मनसि स्थितम्. So here it is Rut Padma Karnikaya, the lotus heart, and this Karnikaya, that is whirl, in the middle of that Dhishnam, that is Madhyasthanam, in the middle of it, Lord accepts the devotion, Samarchatam, Bhaktanam, the devotion offered by his devotees. So Atmani Manasi Sthitam, Atmani, that is situated in the Manasi, in the mind of devotee. Atmani Avasthitam, that is mentioned. Here it is mentioned that Etat Paryantam Savisheshana Dharana Varnanam. So Lord's attributes, Lord's qualities are described till here, till verse 50. Okay, we'll proceed.
Hare
Text
Krishna
51.
Prabhuji, we are
Hare.
unable to see that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary.
I have not shared it because most of the devotees they have, that's why.
Okay, fine.
If you want, I can share it. Text 51. Smayamanam abhidyayet sanuragavalokanam niyatenaika bhutena manasavara darshabham.
Translation: The Lord is always smiling, and the devotee should constantly see the Lord in this form, as he looks very mercifully towards the devotee. In this way, the mediator should look towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the bestower of all benedictions.
Yeah, nicely mentioned how Lord is always smiling. Verse 1. Dhyanam aha, as mentioned about meditation. Smayamanam iti. Smayamanam, that is Lord is smiling. नियतेन प्राग उक्तया धारणया सुस्थिरेणात एवैक भूतेन एकाग्रेण. So here it is mentioned how when by process of this dharana, mind becomes susthira and evaika bhuten ekagrena, that is, it becomes focused. Then one should see how Supreme Lord is, who is the personality of Godhead, he is seeing with the smiling face. Dharanauktani vishishtani dhyanepi drashtavyani. So whatever these attributes they are mentioned, they should be seen during dhyanepi, while during meditation also. Just like we read these attributes, qualities of the Lord, when one is meditating on the Lord, so one should see those attributes of the Lord. That is, one should see that yes, these are the Lord's lotus feet. There are nails, how they are glistening, and each part starting from lotus feet of the Lord, from uh, lotus feet's toes and toes nails, and from that beginning from nails nakhashikanta, that till the Lord's face, and then we should focus on Lord's smiling face. यद्वायुतोक्तम् तद उक्तम एकादश स्कंदे न अन्यानि चिंतेत भूयः सुस्मितं भावयन् मुखम. So as we discuss how the 11th canto, it is clearly mentioned that one should meditate on the Supreme Lord only and nothing else. The verse that we saw was tat sarvvyapakam chittam akrushe ekatra dhare na anyani chintayet bhya susmitam bhavayan mukham. That when person has understood about Lord's all these limbs and focused on that, one should then simply meditate on the smiling face of the Lord. No anyani chintet, and one should not meditate or think of anything else. That is Sridhar Swami. Vishwanath Chakra Thakur says about Samarchatam, Archatam, and those who are completely offering proper worship to the Lord, they are in relation with the devotees. So Samarchatam, that is of devotees. And Dishnam Madhyasthani, that we discuss, it is about the place. So Atmani, here he has mentioned in the living entities or in his intelligence, but then some other places we can find different, like we saw Atmani referring to Manasi also, and various meanings are given. Purport Rupa says the word niyatena is very significant in this connection, for it indicates that one should execute the meditation practice as stated above. One should not manufacture a way of meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but should follow the authorized Shastras and personalities. So it is very essential that one should follow the vidhi or rules and regulations that are prescribed. By this prescribed method, one can practice concentration upon the Lord until one is so fixed that he remains in trance, thinking always of the form of the Lord. So, as we know, this Ashtanga Yoga process and how step by step one comes to the stage of Samadhi. The word used here is Ek Bhutena, which means with great attention and concentration. If one concentrates on the descriptions of the bodily features of the Lord, one will never fall down. So in general, as we understand, you have all studied about Nectar of Devotion and other places, this is nicely described that even if one meditates on the Lord's lotus feet, all his sins are eradicated. So gradually one proceeds ahead on different bodily parts of the Lord. So when we say that the concentration is needed on descriptions of the bodily features of the Lord, it certainly means that this concentration, this focus is by a devotee or by a practitioner who wants to actually uh, uh, meditate on the form of the Lord with his heart. And such person who has given his heart to the Lord, and we saw earlier also that no anyat, because his mind, his heart is not going anywhere else, so there is no question that such person will fall down. That's why Prabhupada says here that if one can concentrate on the bodily features of the Lord, so someone would like to say what is the specialty here, that simply by concentrating on bodily features one will not fall down. As we understand that certainly we need something to contemplate, something where we can focus our eyes, and eyes are always looking for some beauty. Either that beauty is like uh, temporary beauty, or that beauty is covered, like someone may not be beautiful, but then uh, that person is made beautiful, just like people, they wear ornaments and so many things because they themselves are not beautiful. Like no, that temporary beauty is also not so beautiful, so they have to decorate themselves. So that's how they try to look beautiful. But when one concentrates on the description that are given here, how Lord's beauty is so special that because of Lord's beauty, the ornaments also get beautified. So simply by focusing on the Lord's beauty, on these different bodily features of the Lord, certainly one will not get attracted by any other material beauty. So because one will never get attracted to other material beauty, there is no question of one's fall down. So that's why Prabhupada says if one concentrates on the descriptions of the bodily features of the Lord, one will never fall down. Text 52. एवं भगवतो रूपम सुभद्रम ध्यायतो मनः निवृत्त्या तूर्णम संपन्नम न निवर्तते.
Can I read, Prabhu?
Translation.
Oh, read. Okay.
One who meditates in this way, concentrating his mind upon the always auspicious form of the Lord, is very soon freed from all material contaminations, and he does not come down from meditation upon the Lord.
That's why it is mentioned, one who meditates in this way. Samadhim ah evamiti turnam shigram sampannam sad. So here this word describes about samadhi, samadhim ah. Turnam shigram sampannam sad. So here it is said how person, he shigram, very soon gets great joy and his mind is absorbed. Vanchita says Atasa. new one, which is this 51. मनसा एवं विदम भगवतो रूपम ध्यायेत इत्यन्वयः. So as described, the form of the Lord, it should be by one's mind, one should meditate upon. Jiva Goswami says, avidhyayet tat tad vaishishtena chintayet ityartha. So how one should meditate? So the way the specific attributes, descriptions of various bodily features of the Lord, they are given. Accordingly, one should contemplate. Vishwanath Thakur says, niyatena asaktena. So when it is mentioned as niyatena, that is one should focus on the Lord with great attachment. Asaktena. Ekabhutena ekagrena. Ekabhutena means with focused attention. Ekagrena. Yeah. Srimad Shukdev Siddhanta Pradeep, he says, niyatena vishayebhyo niruddhena, that one should control, get rid of the various sense objects. And ekabhutena ekagrena manasa smayamanam manda hasit yuktam abhidhyayet. So with complete focus, one should meditate on the Lord, that is Lord's form of manda hasita yuktam, wherein Lord is smiling. Yeah, so here Goswami Shri Giridhar Vita Bal Prabodhini says that Dhyanam, it is describing about Samadhi. Here, Niyamena Purokta Dharanaya Vashikrutena, as mentioned earlier, with that understanding, Vashikrutena, आता एवैक भूतेन एकाग्रेण मनसा, one should control one's mind, स्मयमानम हसंतम सानुरागम भक्त विषयक अनुराग सहितम अवलोकनम यस्यतम. So how one should see the Lord? One should see that how Supreme Lord, he has a great attachment, he is having great affection for his devotees. In that way one should see the Lord. Sanuragam means that he has great attachment for his devotees. Varadarshvam Varadanam Brahmadinam Madhye Rushabam Shreshtam. So how Supreme Lord is a great amongst all other demigods and all other beings, Brahmadinam, Brahma and others, that he gives the greatest benediction. Ishtadataram, whatever one desires, accordingly gives. Bhagvantam abhidhyayet ityana. So accordingly one should meditate on the Supreme Lord. But the fixed meditation is called samadhi or trance. A person constantly engaged in the transcendental living service of the Lord cannot be deviated from meditating on the form of the Lord as described herein. So the person who is having this mindset of serving the Lord, it is very difficult to deviate. Why it is difficult? Because here Prabhupada is mentioning about, someone would like to say how person cannot be deviated. Anyone would like to say why such person cannot be deviated?
Because Lord is attracting.
Very nice. So Prabhupada often says about this two kinds of samadhi. Here we discuss, as Prabhupada has mentioned, and commentaries we saw samadhi. This is a description about samadhi, this fixed meditation. Now here Prabhupada is talking about constantly engage in the transcendental living service of the Lord. So there is one kind of samadhi in yoga system wherein person is stand still one place, and another samadhi Prabhupada describes about dynamic samadhi, wherein devotee is performing all kinds of activities and he is completely focused in the service of the Lord. He is always meditating on the Lord, but then he is engaged in transcendental living service of the Lord. So because a person, he has engaged all his senses in the service of the Lord, Rishikena Rishikesh Sevanam. So there is no question to deviate such person from meditating on the form of the Lord. Why? Because he has engaged everything in the service of the Lord. So there is no question of deviation. But then others, those who are like we see Vishwamitra Muni, he was also in trance, but then he got deviated. So because other senses were having no engagement, but here as Prabhupada mentioned that a devotee who is engaged in the transcendental living service of the Lord cannot be deviated, because it is very clear that all his senses are engaged. They have got engagement. When there is no engagement for the senses, they are craving for the engagement, and as soon as they get the opportunity, immediately they get attracted to it. But because when senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, senses get purified. The Archana Marg, or the devotional path described in the Pancharatra system of devotional service for worshipping the deity in the temple, makes the devotee think constantly of the Lord. That is samadhi or trance. So someone knows about how this Archana Marg or this system makes devotee think constantly of the Lord.
Yes, because we engage our senses in serving the Lord or deities.
Yeah, that's what. How, that is the question.
By doing worship, by serving in the temple, or by
Thank you. So here what we get to see, that when Prabhupada is mentioning here, the people, those who are actually second initiated Brahmanas, they have this clarity about how they constantly think, if they have to prepare the bhoga for the Lord, which items to prepare. Last time these items were prepared in this way, now we would like to make it much better. We want to add this special flavor, we want to add uh, some special decorations, by which, just by seeing, in various ways Lord will be pleased, by seeing the form of the item that is offered, by touching that item, by smelling it, by tasting it, in every way how Lord will be pleased. That's how a devotee keeps meditating, whether it is cooking for the Lord, or a devotee meditates how Lord can be decorated nicely, as we discuss about decorating the waist of the Lord, decorating the turban, Lord's pagdi, and all various kinds of bodily parts, how he can be decorated nicely, or decorating the altar of the Lord. And there can be so many various ways by which devotee keeps contemplating constantly. He keeps thinking about how I can make it better and better. So there are various ways by which, by practicing this Pancharatra system, one keeps his mind constantly engaged in thinking about serving the Lord. And there are as per the season also, like some devotees, they're very eager to offer ice cream to the Lord as soon as this summer season comes. So they offer ice cream to the Lord. And there are various ways. Devotees, they are very much eager. Yes, this is how we want to please the Lord. We know Chandan Yatra and so many other things. So all these festivals, all these opportunities, they are simply helping devotee to constantly think of the Lord. So that's why Prabhupada has mentioned that this Archana Marg, or the devotional path prescribed in the Panchayatra system of devotional service for worshipping the deity in the temple, makes the devotee think constantly of the Lord. So there are other things like summer time, when altar is closed, then AC can be there, by which the Lord will be very much at ease, comfort. And when darshan is open, so outside if it is very hot, then inside they will put the fan, or some arrangement will be made by which Lord will be the soothing atmosphere will be there. So it is just some of the things, but then there are many other things that devotee wants to contemplate think about. It can be even about proper cleanliness. Let's say the atmosphere is uh, dusty, and then dust comes inside altar, then devotee thinks how it can be kept clean, and how it can be made in such a way that Lord will be happy. He will make arrangement for such kind of service by which the things will be very clean, pleasing, all that. So more one goes into the details, more one finds that there are multiple number of opportunities by which one can serve the Lord, offering various items, offering um, various things to the Lord, serving the devotees. As we see that if people come during Aarti time and all that, offering them service, and there can be so many ways by which devotee can think of serving the Lord. So one who practices in this way cannot deviate from the service of the Lord, and that makes him perfect in the mission of human life. So because his mind is thoroughly engaged in serving the Lord, so there is no question of deviation, and that's how he makes his life perfect, or makes him perfect in the mission of human life. 653. जपश्च परमो गुह्यः श्रूयतां मे नृपात्मज यं सप्तरात्रं प्रपठन् पुमान् पश्यति खेचरान्.
O son of the king, now I shall speak unto you the mantra which is to be chanted with this process of meditation. One who carefully chants this mantra for 7 nights can see the perfect human being flying in the sky.
Yeah, so here we find it is mentioned as Khecharan. So Khe, that is in the sky. Chara, those who move about. So Khecharan, those who move in the sky. Sridhar Swami says here, Japyo, that is mantraha, and it is verse is about Japascha Paramo Guhya. So this Japa, it is referring to mantra. न निवर्तते ध्येयाकारेण परिणमति इत्यर्थः तदुक्तं योगशास्त्रे मनसो वृत्तिशून्यस्य ब्रह्माकारतया स्थितिः या असम्प्रज्ञात नाम सो समाधि विधीयते. But within this universe there is planet called Siddhalok. The inhabitants of Siddhalok are by nature perfect in the yoga achievements, which are of 8 varieties. One can become smaller than the smallest, anima, lighter than the lightest, or bigger than the biggest. One can immediately get whatever he likes, properly. One can even create a planet, etc. These are some of the yogic perfections by virtue of the Lagima Siddhi or purificatory process to become lighter than the lightest. The inhabitants of Siddhaloka can fly in the sky without airplanes or airships. So, Anima, this is Lagima, Mahima, Prapti, Kamvashaita, all that. So, as these various Siddhis are mentioned, one of the Siddhi, that is becoming lighter than the lightest. We see birds are also flying and all. So, how they are flying? Because they are lighter, and because of this perfection or this attainment of the Siddhi, these inhabitants of Siddhaloka, they can also fly without need of any airplanes or airships. It is hinted herein by Narad Muni to Dhruva Maharaj that by meditating upon the transcendental form of the Lord, at the same time chanting the mantra, one becomes so perfect within 7 days that he can see the human beings who fly in the sky. So this is the potency of the mantra, that because it is received in parampara from bona fide spiritual master, and he has instructed that if he chants it properly as instructed, then in 7 days he will be able to see this Khecharan. Those are human beings who are flying in the sky. Narad Muni uses the word japaha, which indicates that the mantra to be chanted is very confidential. One may ask, if it is confidential, why is it mentioned in the writing of Srimad Bhagavatam? So Prabhupada is replying, it is confidential in this sense. One may receive a published mantra anywhere, but unless it is accepted through the chain of disciplic succession, the mantra does not act. So as we know that without the proper parampara system, mantra nishpalate, if that mantra is not received through parampara, then it is nishphala, it will not act. It is said by authoritative sources that any mantra chanted without having been received from the disciplic succession has no efficacy. When it is said that mantra is not received in parampara, where is the question of if it being effective? Another point established in this verse, that meditation should be carried on with the chanting of a mantra. Chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is the easiest process of meditation in this age. So when we speak of chanting mantra, so there are 3 ways by which the mantra can be chanted. Either one can chant it very loudly, and that loud chanting is, it's like kirtan, and when mantra, it is chanted but not so loudly, it is just kind of murmuring, that is called as upanshu. And third way of chanting is when one chants mentally, it is mansik. So it is recommended that one chants this mantra here, Hare Krishna Mahamantra. When it is japa, it is upanshu, and when it is kirtan, it should be chanted loudly. As soon as one chants the Hare Krishna mantra, he sees the forms of Krishna, Rama and their energies, and that is the perfect stage of trance. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Krishna, Rama and Hare, one is able to see these forms, and that is what the perfect stage of trance. One should not artificially try to see the form of the Lord while chanting Hare Krishna, but when the chanting is performed offenselessly, the Lord will automatically reveal himself to the view of the chanter. The chanter therefore has to concentrate on hearing the vibration, and without extra endeavor on his part, the Lord will automatically appear. Any questions what we have discussed till now?
This was very interesting to note, Prabhu, that the forms will automatically appear as the chanting becomes perfect. Just a comment, Prabhu.
I have a question for you. What is this? As it is mentioned that we should chant mantras. So how Prabhupada would chant Gayatri mantra? So Prabhupada's personal servant Hari Shauri Prabhu, he said that he would chant this Gayatri mantra in Upanshu, murmuring. So it is very essential that we should chant as prescribed by the spiritual master. Similarly, chanting Hare Krishna also, if we chant as Upanshu Japa, then we are actually able to focus, and it is not Kirtan. So we want to make it Japa, then we have to ensure that we chant it in such a way that it is audible to oneself. It is not for others to hear. Otherwise, sometimes people, they want to ensure that their chanting is heard by everyone else. So very nice. So tomorrow's session will complete this chapter. As such, further not much purports are there, but then when we'll see tomorrow this text 54, there we have some discussion. Apart from that, further not much we'll be able to complete chapter tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to all of you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Vancha kaltarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि
हरि हरि
हरे कृष्ण। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Hare Krishna, thank you, Danda.